Save 8% off your order at TrueTechTools.com by using the Shop Talk discount code. Hey everybody, and what's up, and welcome to HVAC Shop Talk. My name is Zack Psioda because the little square at the bottom of the screen says so it must be true because this is the internet, and it must be true. I want to say welcome to all the people in the chat tonight. We have Kangaroo God, my good buddy there with the awful internet, Dimitri. I don't know how to say your name, Dimitri, but I know how to say Dimitri, so that's what we're going to go with. We have Mashoud Alaka. I'm going to try Mashoud and Dimitri. Got some great names out there tonight, like my name. Zachary Psioda. Strange one. Frylock, our buddy Bimco. We have Clint Glasgow, one of our great supporters. Hey, Dimitri, man. I'm not a nameologist. My spelling is horrible. I don't know if that's pertinent, but it seems like it is. It seems like you'd have trouble with names if you also couldn't spell. So, yeah, that seems like it'd be my problem. Benjamin Timmons, what's happening? So great. So great to have all you guys with us. What are we doing here tonight? So late at night. It's typically a lot later because my children have gone to bed. They go to bed at 9:30. The twins do, or they do now, because they can't behave like human beings. They go to bed at 9:30. They're 14, so you can weigh out the pros and cons of going to bed at 9:30. And my other son won't go to bed in there for a couple hours here. So I wanted to wait till they went to bed before I went on the air, and I want to start coming on the air a little bit more often during the week because I enjoy it so daggone much, and we're just going to do it a little bit more often, I think. So we'll see how it goes. Hey, Tony Del Grego, what's up, Anthony? T. Leck, what's happening? Just got off work in San Francisco. Hey, that's nice. So it's 6:48, just got off work. Very nice. And Frylock's actually still at work. Very sad. That's the little symbol with the French fries and the angry head there. He's also one, and let me just tell you guys, I'm just going to stop it right now. Frylock's on Instagram under the same name, Frylock87HVAC, and I think he's giving away a Subaru Impreza and 3 tickets to next year's Super Bowl on Instagram. So make sure you go over there and check him out because I'm pretty sure that's what he's giving away. I don't remember. I don't know if the giveaway's happened yet. Hopefully it hasn't. I'm just saying that, that's the guy right there. That's your guy. All right, so what's been going on today? Tonight, it's just going to be me. But I plan on bringing other people in as time goes by, like I do on Friday nights. Like every Friday night on the HVAC Training Videos channel, we bring somebody in. Last week, we had Brent. Brent was our second choice, as he put it, because our buddy Don Gillis from Emerson, he was indisposed. He did not feel well, but he should be back this Friday night. Don, I just moved him to this Friday, and we're going to talk about some flammable refrigerants, some compressor stuff, so it should be a pretty good time. Next week, on the 12th, we have our hangout on this channel on Friday night for the Subscribe Star supporters. Those are the guys who kind of sponsor the channel and help me out and donate to the channel. So we give them a night to have a hangout, and that should be the 12th of March. The following week, we're going to have Zach Desjardins, our buddy Quality HVACR, is going to be back. And then after that, it's a little bit murky. Probably David Holt. I had to check and make sure that date's all right with him. David Holt's from National Comfort Institute, like our buddy David Richardson. Oh, man. Okay, that's right. I'm sorry here. We have, I hit the wrong name. Sorry, Kyle. Frylock says he's giving away F-150. I forgot. Okay. So Kangaroo God will be here next week. He was trying to join our original Subscribe Star Hangout, but he couldn't because the internet is just so awful. But this time, he's going to point the antenna in the right direction, and we should be all right. So that should be good. Okay, so what are we going to talk about tonight? Tonight, I figure it would be a great time to talk about the Bosch stuff I did today. As many of you know, I have a Bosch IDS 2.0 at my house. Today, I was up in the attic going through some stuff for whatever. I was looking for a bin of clothes, like to sell at a sale. We do that because we have so many children. We sell their used clothes at the consignment sales. So I was up there and I saw a reflection underneath the air handler. And only one time you see a nice reflection underneath the air handler, that's if there's water down there. And I was like, I know there ain't water underneath this air handler that's not even a year old running wise. So I put my hand down there and splat about 1/4 inch of water. So, and the comments here, I'm going to kind of go through the comments. Got put up a little clip of it on YouTube. So I went outside, just want to double check a couple different things. See if the drain was clogged, pretty obvious stuff. And then see if I had enough refrigerant on the suction side, just to make sure I didn't have like an issue with we're getting down really low below freezing and causing a freeze up. So, hey, look, somebody's pointing in upward. What is this? Someone's pointing upward. Let's see what happens upward. We have Tool Pros podcast. That's our buddy Brent. That's from last week. Second choice Brent's here. All right, second choice Brent. Good to see you. We have Justin Beaver, and he's making a puke symbol. I don't know if that's because of Bosch. I don't think I mentioned Roby Tools yet, so I don't know why he's puking. It could be. I'm not sure, but I do love Ryobi. I just want to put that out there since Justin's here. I do love Ryobi, and I love Jesus. I love Jesus and Ryobi. Okay, and Jesus stronger than Ryobi. I'll just put it out there. Okay, I just want to let him know. And Justin, I just want to let you know too, I've been doing a lot of research for our Sunday night show. So I'm ready this week. I have a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about some of them healer preachers on Sunday night. Hey, I'm just going to put this up too. Chris Forsyth loves Ryobi. Let's just let that sink in, man. They make tools for everything, okay? They make tools for everything. I'm pretty sure Ryobi has an 18+ nose trimmer if we look hard enough. They have everything. And I'm just saying, maybe a little bit better in Milwaukee. I'm just going to put that out there, see what everybody says. Maybe a little bit better in Milwaukee, not sure. So that's Chris Forsyth there is on my team, Ryobi team. I've been using Ryobi since 2005. Okay, since they were big old purple clunky tools with big old black NiCad batteries that you cut 5 holes with their Sawzall and you have to recharge. I've been using them that long, and I love those daggone things. And I've gone through about 1 zillion of their batteries. And the biggest disappointment I've had recently was the lawn battery, like the 40-volt battery. I lost one of them, the 5 amp hour battery. Those are like $100. So that ticked me off a little bit. That's the only disappointment recently. And I use them a lot. I mean, I'm down at my shop. I was down at my shop today cutting up boards to make a bookshelf out of, which is really intensive carpentry. I'll just put it that way. All right, so we're going to go over to the Bosch video stuff. I don't want to show a screen share of my YouTube studio because I don't know if there's any vital information on there. But I want to find some comments there, and some new ones have come in, so we'll just read through them and see what they say. And, oh my gosh, what is this? I can't believe I'm listening to this Ryobi praise. Well, you better suck it up, Brent. Okay, you're supposed to be a tool pro. You're supposed to know what the best is, and that's Ryobi. All right, I'm just going to say that and just leave that there. All right, let's go back to Bosch now. Let me see if I can find the comments here. Nick Guerrero says, "Neat. Did you check to see if the drain has started sagging?" And he means that if the drain sags, it causes a double trapping situation. It won't drain properly and have some backup in the evaporator coil. The drain wasn't sagging as far as I could tell. I was up in the attic. I put a lot of hanging straps on my drain. There's these engineered trusses that are on 2-foot centers, and I had a strap on every single one of them, I do believe. So I don't think it's going to be a sagging issue, but that's something I could definitely double check, and it makes sense to do that. And while we're double checking it is, there's the water in the pan. And what I did is I went out there and I went to the unit and I put a gauge on the suction side. It was well over 120 PSI, which meant it was well over freezing for 410A, which is somewhere around 98, 99 PSI, somewhere in there. And when I say it's well above freezing, I mean every pressure has a corresponding temperature in the evaporator. And for R410A, you cross around 32 degrees, around 98 PSI. I have to look at the PT chart again, but it's right around there. Right around there. So I did that, and I did vacuum out the drain, but not a whole lot of stuff came out of the drain. So I'm like, well, what could it be? And then Kanga had a good, let's see, where did he put it at? He had a good suggestion there. It says sweating coil cabinet. So if you have a real high differential in temperature from the inside to the outside of the coil cabinet, and you have enough moisture on the outside in the attic, you can condense on the bottom of the cabinet. It'll drip down onto the pan. Now, that hasn't been ruled out. That happens a whole lot here in North Carolina because we have a lot of hot, humid days. But the issue was today that it wasn't happening today. And I think this water's probably been in there for at least a week or two. That's as long as I haven't been up in the attic. I'd been up there previously, I don't know, a couple weeks ago probably, and I didn't see anything. I didn't take notice of anything. So it could have been there, but I didn't notice it. But I definitely didn't see any of those droplets there today. I ran the AC for a while just to check the refrigerant pressure on the suction side. So I didn't see any sweating there today, but it could have happened already. All right, let me look up through here again. There's a lot of good stuff. You guys have a lot of good comments. All right, T. Leck, who was here earlier, I don't know where he's at now. Let's see. That's the newfangled method of removing humidity out of the living space extra option. So they move extra latent capacity by just sweating all over the place. He's being humorous. They gave it to you for free. Don't complain. Marketing sales explanation. Why does everybody say sponsorships are for free? As if there's no work being done. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. It's work. It's work, and we're not sponsored anymore because I have no faith in that product. I'm just going to be honest with you. Rick from HVACR Survival said, after all the problems I had with my in-laws Bosch 1.0 heat pump, and he's talking about the different series. They're called IDS. I think it's indoor split. And he's talking about a 1.0. The one I have is a 2.0. So there were some improvements made in between the two. I guess they didn't take. The improvements didn't take. Unless I'm missing something. Let me be truthful here. Unless I'm missing something and I just got it all backwards. He said, I'll start reading that one again. After all the problems I have with my in-laws Bosch 1.0 heat pump, I decided not to install one for myself. A good move, Rick. They seem great at heating in cold environments, but suck for proper dehumidification and cooling mode. Looking true so far, Rick. Due to the non-communicating timed algorithm that resets after each cycle instead of remembering where it left off, it starts back at 30%, I believe. He said it's been several months since he worked on it. Starts over again. And it's on its way back up to 100%, just a poor design. Now, here's my question about that. And that's interesting information. I've never had that information before. But if you have a single stage system that can do a better job than a multi-stage system, there must be some errors, or not errors, but must be some deficiencies in the, someone's emailing me about Bosch right now. That's really interesting. I have to read this for a second. I could play like an ad in a second. I'll read this email. So maybe it's maybe this will be helpful for the situation. But if a single stage machine can out dehumidify a multi-stage machine, there's something wrong with that multi-stage machine. Maybe there's a total latent capacity, because every machine has like a sensible maximum capacity and a latent maximum capacity. And maybe Bosch just doesn't have it. And maybe I need to do a little bit more testing. I don't have all the stuff I used to have back in the day, where I used to have like the iManifold and stuff where I could do some real complicated testing. And I don't have Measure Quick compatible stuff. So maybe I need to get that stuff or borrow it from a friend, and I'll check the system out. Right now I have the Yellow Jacket stuff, which they have all the tools, but they don't have that intuitive app that'll help out with that. And I guess you can do it all longhand. That's a pain in the butt. It sounds like a lot of work. And anything you do longhand where you're measuring different temperatures and making your own calculations, seems like there's a higher and higher likelihood that you're going to mess up, because every one of your calculations has an error. Like when you're getting capacity and you're measuring enthalpy on the supply side, enthalpy on the return side. We should talk about that too, because I put up a post and that was alarming. So there's enthalpy difference that goes in the capacity. There's a CFM you have to measure. There's a whole bunch of stuff you have to measure. And if you're doing it all yourself one by one, there's a chance you're going to compound up a bunch of errors, which you shouldn't, but I don't have all that stuff. And let's see. Oh, wait a second. We'll get to your reheat thing here in a second, Brent. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to read this email real quick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play one of our sponsor ads, because we do live off the sponsors. So, I mean, don't be like, oh, a sponsor ad. Why? Because we have to do it. All right. We have to do it. And I'm going to play an ad, and I'll be right back, guys. And let me see if I can't read this email. The new Yellow Jacket scale, part number 68864, has a 220-pound capacity, a large platform, and wireless Bluetooth communication via the Y-Jack app. With a 0.05% accuracy and 0.2 ounce resolution, service technicians can count on precision measurements every time. Okay, so I'm not gonna be able to read this whole email, and I appreciate it, Danny, and I'll read the whole thing whenever I have a little bit more time. We'll talk about it because I plan on doing a little bit more of this streaming during the week, and we'll just talk about whatever's going on that day and just apply it. Today, I happen to be just working like semi field work here at my house, but a lot of times I do a lot of studying now after being in the field for whatever a long time. I'm trying to read and do some of the brain work I was supposed to do at the beginning. So I'm reading a book on A2L refrigerants and A3 refrigerants. So we can talk about that. And of course, I'll bring some people in here, including Joe and Brent. And we have a bunch of people here that could come on the show and talk too. And Justin's up there as well. So basically, the gist of this email is going to be that Danny's had a problem with Bosch. I see the chat down there. We'll get to it in a second. Danny had a problem with Bosch, and he's kind of detailing that issue. So I definitely want to read that. And he has kind of a saga here because it's quite a lengthy email. And I know I'm not going to be able to get to it here on the air, and I won't be able to do it justice until I sit down with it and read it, which I will do, Danny. And I appreciate you sending that. I've had a few emails about Bosch. I try to get those together, and I don't know if they're not like they're all negative or anything like that, but there's various emails about Bosch. I'll try to compile them so we can talk about it because Bosch is like still a hot subject. It's been like 2 or 3 years, and it's still a hot subject. I'm not sure why that is because I know it's cheaper than other like inverter systems, but it's not. It can't be all that much cheaper because the air handlers are relatively expensive. It just happens like the air handlers and the condensers are about the same price. It's kind of weird, but not for me, if you know what I'm saying. I'm just kidding. All right. And stay current. Thank you. Nice performance and editing in the YJack video ad. And here's a problem with that is I've dropped like 30 pounds since then. I got to refilm that so I can use my svelte figure in that one. Try not to barf again, Justin Beaver. All right. So here it is. We have Kyle saying internal drain pan tilt. And I'm gonna tell you what, I don't know. I can't remember offhand if it does tilt or not. And he's talking about the internal coil pan. I'm not sure. I cannot remember offhand. I have to look at it because when I was checking it out tonight, it's facing in a way where the inside of the A was facing away with me. I didn't have the doors off on the other side of the air handler, so I couldn't see what orientation the pan was. And I have no idea, but I'll definitely check it out. Brent from Tool Pro says, reheat. That's the solution to your humidity issues. Stop procrastinating, Zachary. You know, Brent's right. Reheat's kind of like one of those things that's like, no matter what your issue is, if you use enough reheat, you're going to solve the problem. And it's true. In my heart, I don't think you should have to use reheat. And it makes me sad. But I will tell you this. If that's what I have to do to fix a problem, reheat it will be. But I'll probably start with maybe I'll design like a 5 kW reheat, maybe something that stages or something. We can come up with something where it won't be 10 kW all the time because that's what it is. It's 3 tons of heating and cooling with a 10 kW heat strip. All right, let's see here. Joe Shearer says they probably rated it once it finally hit its proper RPM. Unfortunately, it never reached proper RPM in the real world. And that's interesting that you say that, Joe, because I remember years ago, I was at East Coast and they were talking about Daikin inverters and how they rated it. The SEER rating was like a 23 or something because I put one of them in. And 23 SEER is really high, but they were saying that if they would take into account how it ramps up and down, it would be much higher than that. And I was like, well, I don't understand how all that works. I know how to gather EER in like a snapshot in the field, just in that one moment. But SEER is a little bit of a mystery to me. I'm not quite sure how that works. I know the idea of it, but I don't know how they calculate it over an entire season. And let's see. Why weigh the box in the Yellow Jacket ad? It's funny because I don't remember if that's R22 or R410A. It is sitting on top of the Bosch. So I'm not sure if it's one of those ads you see on TV where the guy has like the gauges and they're not even hooked to anything, or he has a jug 410A upright while charging, which of course you can't do because you need to get liquid out when you're charging 410A, which we can talk about that too at a different time, refrigerants and stuff. Joe Shearer says Zach got mad and threw the scale. And what everybody's referring to, if this becomes a podcast at one point, I made a Yellow Jacket ad where I'm testing out their digital scale, which is up to 220 pounds. Go ahead and throw some specifics in there. And at the end of the video, I say it's durable, and then I trip and fall and throw the scale. So that's what I'm talking about. And I appreciate it, guys. Let's see here. I'm going to go down. I like Milwaukee. That's what Darth Schrader says. Hey, man, I like Milwaukee, too. It's a wonderful town. Roger Gregory says, where's Ralph at? I haven't seen him online in a while. I haven't heard from Ralph in like 2 months or 2.5 months. I assume he's alive and at a casino. That's what I'm assuming. And Tool Pro said Bosch power tools are greater than Ryobi. I mean, okay, no one's perfect, Tool Pros, but Ryobi is close. So and Darth Raider says, nice shirt. Hey, speaking of yellow jacket, hey, you know what? Know what an idiot does, guys? He gets his nice yellow jacket shirt, which he's finally appropriately weighted for. I mean, I had to lose a bunch of pounds to fit in the shirt. And then you go out and paint with it. I don't know if you can see it. Hold on. It's hard to see, but there's some paint marks. You can see it right here. I went out there to paint this bookshelf, which I've been working on for a while, and I got white paint on this shirt. I was so ticked off, but I think I have another one that's buried out there with all the other Shop Talk shirts. And might I say that nobody claimed the Refrigeration Technologies prize for that huge Refrigeration Technologies prize giveaway. So I have decided that I'm just going to give away some random stuff periodically on some of these live streams right there in the moment to people that are actually here, because no one ever takes the stuff. They win the stuff and then I don't understand why people don't watch afterwards. It just blows my mind. It was like probably a couple $100 in Refrigeration Technologies gear. It would have been really nice. But Benjamin, I did lose a lot of weight. Thank you, sir. I've lost when this porker was at its max, it was 278 pounds. Now I'm at a cool 238 pounds. And I'm 6'3", so that's not as bad as it sounds. HVAC Trev says, send me some stuff. All the guys like, send me some stuff. Hey guys, since you're here and you watch these shows, I will let you know whenever we're doing it. And maybe on the next one, maybe I'll have another one of these tomorrow night. It won't be Friday night because I have a show with Don Gillis on Friday night. But maybe tomorrow night I'll pop back in here and we'll give away a couple items. I got to set up that Nightbot thing again, I think, to do that. We'll figure out a way to do it. So then maybe you comment on this video. I'll tell you before the end of the show. And I haven't received, Kangaroo got saying Nylog White. I haven't received any Nylog White yet, but usually those guys are pretty good. I just say, like, we're out of this, and they'll send more stuff, so I'll have to ask them. All right. Roger Gregory, thank you. Weight loss. The key to weight loss is I eat the same thing. I work out. Just work out. Okay. I ate the same thing. I had a ice cream sandwich earlier. It was glorious. Okay. It was wonderful. But before I just have a whole show about weight loss and stuff, let me see if there's any other comments on the Bosch. I think that was about it. I know I get emails on the Bosch, and I created a few polls this week. So let's talk about one of those. I'll go to my channel. Hold on. I got to stop it it says I'm live. It's true. I am live. Here I am right here. Let me go find one of the polls here for a second. My YouTube will work backwards. Okay. So I'm going to skip the lunch one. And here's the one we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the enthalpy poll. And here's what it says. Okay. What is the typical supply return enthalpy split of an air conditioner? All right. What we're talking about here is you measure enthalpy, which is a sum of all the heat in the air, basically. You have sensible heat, which is the temperature that goes up and down on the thermostat. And then you have the latent heat, which think of it as the water in the air. Adds that extra dimension to how much heat is in the air. And the total is called enthalpy. You have a number. I said, what is the typical supply return enthalpy split of an air conditioner? And I put 3.5, 6.7, 8.2, or 10.4. What is the answer? People of the chat, what is the answer? I thought this was really, really easy. But it turns out this was hard. I mean, there's stuff that I think is hard that people are like, but this one I thought was easy. And the guys were like, no, they 37% chose the wrong answer. And people in the comments were like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. Joe Shearer says, I'm glad Zach rounded it up to 6.67. I rounded up to 6.7. Okay. And Susie's got the right idea. She says 6 2/3. It is 6.7. That is the average. How you get that number is, let's start with, I don't have any way to write down anything, unfortunately. Maybe I could open like Microsoft Paint and do it, but I'm not as educated as I should be. I don't know how to do that here on the fly. I guess I do. I could just type it in, but I'm not going to do it. Let's put it that way. I'll just explain it to you. Let's say you had get my calculator out, 36,000 BT unit, which is 3 tons. All right. We're trying to figure out enthalpy split. The equation of capacity for an air conditioner, 4.5, which is a constant, multiplied by CFM, multiplied by change of enthalpy, which is the enthalpy split. So let's say we had a 3-ton machine, 36,000 BTUs divided by 1,200 CFM, standard 400 CFM per ton, divide it by 4.5. All right, and that's what you get. 6.7 basically. Yes, it's better than the mark of the beast number. Yes. It's probably good. 6.7 is really good. 666 is, we don't want to do that. Yep. It is if it's running at 400 CFM. And we were going to have a video about that too. I think it's going to come out next week on the training videos channel, talking about different CFMs, how it affects, because it's going to affect the enthalpy split. So if you lower the CFM, let's say you do 350 CFM per ton, let's go ahead and do that. So 36,000 BTUs divided by 4.5 divided by, let's say, 1050 for 350 CFM per ton. 1050 equals, and then you have 7.619. And just conversely, because if you live in a very, very dry climate, you can push a CFM higher than 400 CFM per ton because all you need is sensible cooling. You don't need latent. So you can push it up. Let's say you do 450 CFM per ton. So we have 36,000. This is great to do math on the fly, isn't it? This is a lot of fun. Divided by 4.5, divided by 1350, 1350. And then you drop all the way down to 5.93. So Joe says, why do you think it's 6.66? Is air conditioning evil? I mean, obviously it's evil. It's full of things that deplete the ozone layer or things that cause global warming. Of course, air conditioning is evil. Where did the heat go, Zach, if the number changes? Where did the heat go? The heat changed from sensible heat to, well, it changes from the what am I thinking of? Sensible heat ratio changes. And what's happening is you're getting more latent heat instead of sensible heat. But where did the heat go? The heat go and there's less air passing across the coil or greater amounts of air passing across the coil. So the change is different because there's more or less total air volume going across the coil. I think I explained that right. It sounded good. It sounded good. It sounded like Jim Bergman in my head. So hopefully it sounded like Jim Bergman talking. And if it's wrong, maybe it's complicated enough where you guys can't tell. That's what I'll hope for. That'll be my joy and my hope there. And like I said, it's a funny thing because a long time ago, like guys like Jim Bergman and David Richardson, they'll tell you, it's like, you don't know how much you know until you try to teach somebody about what that is. And I found that that's probably true. Just from being on YouTube. I'm not a teacher, by the way. There's people that call me a teacher on YouTube before. I think that those people, they're in trouble scholastically if they're calling me a teacher. I'm trying. I'm going to try to start reading a little bit more. I read every single day. I read the instruction manual for life, the Bible. Pause for effect. And I read whatever HVAC book I'm on. Right now, I'm reading a book. I can't tell you what it is because I'm reading it before it comes out because someone asked me to read it for them. But the second one I'm going to read is this. Pause because I had to go down. This is my favorite, air conditioning and refrigeration repair. Although I do have a book on the way, supposedly, that is a Bergman book, and I think it's the vacuum book that they. I don't know if they wrote a book on vacuum or they're bringing back a older book, and Brian Orr and Bergman are adding to it. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I'm supposed to have that book soon. So, and I also have a thing about Ben Carson. So, Kangaroo God, here's what enthalpy total heat stays the same. Total heat stays the same. It just changes, right? Is that right? It just changes from one form to another. Help me out, Kanga. When he goes, I get the impression that he's saying, that sounds wrong. But I don't know. Shannon says, this is too highbrow for me. Can't you just hold your hand over the vent? Yes, Shannon. Don't be afraid. You can, of course, still hold your hand over the vent, and you can do it over the condenser and say, this is low in charge, bud. I think you need to air some gas. You can say it like that, too. It helps. I don't know why it is. It helps if you say it like that. In fact, everything you say needs to be like that. I was going to invoice you electronically, but I decided to use a paper invoice because my phone's Android and it won't. It's frozen. It's froze up. Something like that. Let's see. If you lose capacity, your 30. This is a comment from Kangaroo God. If you lose capacity, your 36,000 number changes proportionally. This is true. So I'm plugging in these numbers as if they would never change, or if that was ever the number anyway, because most of the machines don't have a number that matches the nominal 12,000 CFM per ton. So Kanga's right. The number could go farther down, 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 down. Darth Raider says, I like biscuits. That's why I like the YouTube chat, because just when you think it's getting heavy, somebody's going to slide on in there and be like, isn't it bow time? I love bow rounds, and I love biscuits too. Thank you, Darth Raider. Thank you. Dimitri says, what if my total static pressure 0.85 and fan on high speed? I'm assuming we're talking about TESP of 0.85. It's a little high, but you may not need the fan to be on high speed. You have to go to the fan tables and figure out what your CFM is based on that number and that fan speed. Steve is in here. Steve, what? Oh, no, let's fix it. I like steak and lobster. Okay, we have biscuits. We have steak and lobster. Great. For you guys who listen to these as podcasts, you're really missing out the experience of being with the chat. It's a glorious experience because you don't have conversation like this in real life. You know what I'm saying? This only happens on the internet. Okay. Steve says, does not have the energy to go into changing higher amount of condensation. Does not have the energy. Steve, what are you saying? Does that make sense? No. I'm pretty sure it does make sense. I just don't understand it, so I'm going to skip past it. Darth Schrader says, I miss my Bojangles. I miss my Bojangles too. I'll just go there tomorrow, though, because it's right down the street. I'm sorry, Susie. I would ship you Bojangles stuff if I could. I really would. Or you should just come back and visit. That's what I'm saying. You just come down here and visit, and you can go to, you can go down to Jayville, visit some of your old friends, New Bern, Jayville, somewhere in there. Then you can just circle back around and come over to Wallace, where I'm at. We can stop at the Bojangles. It's right down the interstate. It'll be great. In fact, when I buy stuff on Facebook Marketplace, I meet them at that Bojangles. It's that close. All right. Okay. Guys, I feel like we should get off here. It's 10:17. I need to work out a little bit before I go to bed. That's right. I'm going to work out a little bit. You don't get this figure from just sitting around watching TV and being on the internet. You got to do something. All right. So maybe I'll come back tomorrow night. I hope you guys like this, enjoy this. This is fun. Probably bring in another person, or if I can't find another person, I'll just keep on talking. Either way. So if you enjoyed it, hey, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Susie says she's going to show up here one day. That'd be great. Steve says, speak to text messages messing me up every time. Hey, I'm with you. It's really bad. It's really bad. I do it all the time. Circle back. Roger Gregory says he's going to circle back, or he's telling me I'm circling back. I think that's a joke about our new what's that? Press secretary, I think it. Maybe that's a joke about the press secretary. Okay. Any books that I recommend from Geo K24? My favorite one. This is one I could read this one so easily for some reason. I've never been a big fan of reading till just recently. For some reason, the Lord has given me a great desire for reading in the last little bit, and I thank him for it. But before that, Air Conditioning and Refrigeration Repair, 2nd edition, Roger Fisher and Ken Chernoff. I love this book, man. It goes over a whole bunch of different stuff, just kind of peering into it real quick. See if there's a contents. He has basic electricity for refrigeration, test meters, compressors. There's look, you can freeze the screen later if you want to. Hold on. There's all the stuff that pops in here. All right. Whenever I see people on the screen type I worry. I worry because says so many things. Perhaps it says something positive. Perhaps it's negative. We'll never know because it just came across as Too bad. Too bad. All right, guys. That's the book, Air Conditioning and Refrigeration Repair. I'm reading one on refrigerants right now. After that, hopefully I'll be reading the one on vacuum. Whatever I learned, I'll give it to you, or I'll bring somebody in that knows more than me, which isn't hard because most of the time I go out on the street, I can close my eyes and point and I'll see a guy that knows more than me. Even about HVAC, that's true. Isn't that scary? That's not good. But I'll be back. If you want me to come back, here's the best thing. Put a comment down below because we might choose like a prize based on comments after this thing. Not in the live chat. Go down below the video. Put a comment down there. Something you'd like to talk about, someone you'd like to see on this show. That would be helpful. That'd be great. And if you like, you can throw a like on the show. Hey, man, we need likes, okay? I'm pretty sure I get not enough likes. Personally, I'm going to let you in on a secret, guys. I don't care anything about likes. I just hope you enjoy the show. But evidently, YouTube likes and thinks it's something. So, hey, whatever. Put a like on it. Be great. I'm going to get out of here, guys. Oh, wait. Equals BFF is knocking on door, baby crying, and water boiling over. Gotta go. Hey, I dig that. Okay, that's good. All right. Had a good chat, guys. Had a lot of fun. I'm gonna get out of here. Let me see if I can find some sort of outro that I programmed. Oh, I can. Yeah, let's hear it.